we're going to cut his pay for missing that line.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why you're here.
Straight in half. Like half.
Half? Just half my pay. Fantastic.
Gone.
$2.
Yeah. So this is the real estate segment, Savannah. So this is just your time to shine, yes. And so, I mean, what is it that you think we need to get across for you, knowing that right now the biggest problem, and it's finally catching up, mainstream media is finally realizing that we have a housing shortage. Everybody's like, we're not selling anything and we're going to have a bubble, but they're like, oh wait, there's no homes to sell. I guess we're not going to have a bubble. So we've been trying to get that word out for a while. But yeah, so what do you think we need?
I think it's really important that people realize that the news is talking nationally, not hyper-local, so they kind of put people in a panic. And if you look at the trends that are happening in Austin, they don't always go along with that national trend. And so we're in a place where people keep moving to. They have to move, they have to buy, which puts us in a great position as far as real estate goes. And then we were talking about how people were nervous as far as mortgage rates go.
Okay.
Saying like that if you wait to buy, then all of a sudden everyone's going to be in that position. The second they drop, we're going to have all that competition, and why would you do that? It's going to just echo what happened in the past.
Right.
We're going to have buyer fatigue.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
That I think that's
it.
That's the whole show right there.
Yeah.
All right, you ready in there? All right. So here we go. The fun part. Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt, where we bring sports and money together for your education and entertainment. If you have any questions about anything we say today, please reach out to me at Loans from Troy. That's with an S, not a Z. That's a S.
Okay.
Loans from Troy.com. Or you can give me a call if you're like me. If you're a 71 model and you prefer the phone, it is 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes. Go ahead. You can finish.
By financing your
American dream.
There we go.
Hey,
That was a tough one to get out. Hey, but
well, when I hit the S's, then my tongue kind of just started tying up.
it
And
just
then
paralyzed there for a little bit. Yeah, your tongue was done.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It might be the heat outside.
Well, yes, and
It's only like 125,000 degrees outside. Elton.
just Texas is not the hottest state.
No.
It's 120 here. It's 134 in California.
This is true. We're only preheating.
Well, except for San Diego.
Yes, San Diego's 82. Now the 134 is in Death Valley, so it's not. It's in the desert. So I mean,
Right. I think we have to go from Fahrenheit to Kelton here pretty soon.
I'm thinking I like the Celsius, but
It makes you feel better?
But if you hit 100 in Celsius, that's like boiling.
Yeah.
So
It's hot.
yeah.
Well, you know what? What is kind of getting hot again is the market. And so we have a fantastic guest with us today, and I'm ready to learn a little bit. So
Absolutely, we would like to welcome aboard Savannah Astani. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. So last month was the first month in a year and a half, I think, where the listings sold compared to the sales price, as in what it listed for and what it sold for, was the first time it broke 100%. So we are nationwide now selling over list again. And I don't think people realize that. I think everybody looks around and says no homes are selling because that's what the news is telling me. And what are you seeing out there?
I think that when people just watch the news, they're talking about national trends, and you're not really digging into what's happening in your city. So that's where you really need to rely on people that are in the trenches. They know, like your local lenders or your local realtors, and they're out there every day seeing what's happening in the community. And as far as listing a home and hitting that 100%, if you hit the right price, if you're looking at all the comps, looking at what's happening in that local market, and you price it perfectly the first day it's on the market, then we're not going to see those days on market go for long because it's priced right and it's going to go. And so that's the most important thing I can tell people when they're listing their home is you need to see what's happening and price right the first time.
I do feel that sometimes listing agents aren't informing the sellers enough, and they're letting the sellers kind of dictate. Oh no, I want to sell it for $500,000, and you're like, well, it's a $420 house.
Well, I think it goes back to when we were in the pandemic and everything in Austin was exploding, just like a lot of other places, and so you'll have someone say, oh, well, my neighbor sold for $1 million 2 years ago. I think my house is the same. And it's, no, that was not.
Yeah, I have wood floors. They didn't have wood floors.
Yeah.
Mine should go for more. You're like, well, it's different. It's different.
It is, and we are stabilizing, but that was not sustainable.
No.
It was a moment in time. There was a lot that was happening in the world, and it was great. And if you sold in that time, congratulations. That's wonderful. But we have to be realistic, and we have to look at what's happening now.
So people need to call you, and this information right now changes weekly.
Absolutely.
Right? It's kind of going up and down. Interest rates. We'll talk about that next segment. But the market is kind of changing on a weekly basis. So if they're reading or watching the news, they might be misinformed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, they've been talking about a housing bust bubble for 18 months,
Right.
and
It scared away a lot of people.
well, Austin last year, 2022, has 6% appreciation. This year, it's over 4.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of hard to have a bust when the house price keeps going up.
And go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, we live in a town that's full of tech and full of new developments, and new jobs are being created, and we are very lucky and fortunate to live in a place where there's so many opportunities. So I think that really speaks to the local trend versus what you're seeing nationally.
So what I'm hearing is people need to give you a call. How do they get a hold of you?
You're absolutely right. So I am with the Eklund Gomes team at Douglas Elliman. So you can Google me that way, or my phone number is 760-607-2925, or I'm on social media at Savannah Sells ATX.
Oh.
That's a cool
Is
one.
it
Savannah
sells
Sells?
or sales?
Sells.
Okay, because in
Yes,
Texas
the
that's
S's.
the exact same saying. With our twang, it sounds the same.
Sales?
No.
Sales or sales.
SELL.
Yeah.
Savannah
Alright.
Sells ATX.
Yes.
Alright.
You got to be very clear on that.
I apologize.
And it's funny. I was talking to somebody and said, "What?" And I go, "Look, I'm Texan. I'm sorry. Let me."
Well,
say
that's
that
how we
again."
have to enunciate the S's too.
Right.
There's a lot in that phrase too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if someone out there wants to buy a home or sell a home, what do buyers need to look for right now? I mean, what's because they have some buyer. It's gonna be buyer fatigue again. Do you think it's a good opportunity for them to buy?
I do, because let's say you're waiting. You have all of your ducks in a row. You could go now, but you're saying, oh, I don't think it's a good time to buy. The mortgage rates are too high, et cetera, whatever the excuse may be. But if you wait till those mortgage rate drops, so is everyone else. And everyone's going to come out of the woodwork. So why do you want to compete against everyone that's been waiting when you could purchase now if there's nothing that's stopping you?
Well, a lot of people get on the news, or they might even get on the A-Board site and see that listings are up 38%. What's the truth behind that? There's some other numbers involved, like, for instance, to-be-builts.
So actually, to-be-builts take up about 31% of the marketplace, and new builds are a great opportunity, especially for first-time home buyers. A lot of people don't know the incentives that come with new builds. You get there's builder opportunities there. You could go in, you could pick your tiles. It's almost like sometimes you could get a custom home that way that you wouldn't necessarily get with a resale. And for example, in Hayes County, I believe sales went up 36%. So people are really kind of spreading out throughout Austin.
Okay.
And there's a lot of opportunity there.
So you help out people, not just in Austin, but the greater Austin area.
Absolutely.
So again, how do people get a hold of you?
Savannah Sells, SELLS-ATX, all over social media. And then you can just call me old-fashioned.
Okay.
760-607-2925.
She's called us old. Sorry
Yes.
about that. Say that number one more time. I cut you off. I was
No,
getting
it's
excited.
okay. 760-607-2925.
I was getting. She said old fashioned.
Yeah.
She looked at us and she said that.
Like I said I was a
She said
71
old.
model.
She said old fashioned. Like
I'm on the phone
like I have a
24/7.
like I have a
take
rotary
call.
note. Yeah.
People
Just
don't
saying.
pick up the phone.
I
and
don't. They don't.
It's
No.
great.
Well, I will
it's
call
efficient.
somebody and they will send me to voicemail and text me. Hey, what's
Oh,
going
yeah.
on?
I
That
get that
goes
all
straight
the
to
time.
voicemail and then it's, hey, what's going on? And I'm like,
So that's me.
I'm
by
like,
the way.
I'm driving and I can't text, so I want to call you and
Talk
speak
to
to you.
text.
Yeah.
So I'll email someone. I'm bad. I'll email them and then I'll
Again.
text them and say, "Hey, I just emailed you." They're like, "Yeah, that's the
Oh,
point of
yeah.
email." Because I get really excited, just like right now, and I cut you off, and I apologize. Sorry about
How do you
that. One more time. What's your phone number?
760-607-2925.
Did I make up for it?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you so much.
I would call her if I was you. She's absolutely has a lot of information. Off air, I've talked to her. A lot of times in this market, we had a lot of people join in real estate, and not that they're bad real estate agents,
And
but
that's kind of where I was going earlier.
Yeah.
Is that politely is that the seller
Yeah.
will hurt their value, their sales price by allowing themselves to set the sales price.
Right.
And so if the realtor allows the seller, to set the sales price, then that's 9 times out of
not
10
the
you're going to
seller.
make less money, because what's happening is you're going to come on the market, you're going to be too high, nobody's going to look at your house for the first 30 days, then you're going to set it, then you're going to move it to the market. Well, now your house has been on the market longer than everybody else, so the first instinction is, oh, well, there's something wrong with that property, so somebody's going to look at it. Then the next thing, somebody's going to go, oh, this thing's been on so long, like me, let's go see if we can get a deal.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go into negotiation, and you're desperate now because you started too high and you're just now to the market. Well, now you don't know what to do. You really, at this point, you just want to wait another week. But no, somebody like me comes in and offers something, and you take less of a deal than you would have if you'd have started in the first place. And having an experienced representative like yourself, Savannah, is important.
She has real estate in her blood.
Yeah.
In her blood. Her parents have been doing it since she was younger.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought she ran into a wall.
No.
And got cut or
Yes,
something.
yes, it's part of
She
me
has a
now.
piece of-
Building. I'm attached to this 44
She has a piece of
actually.
brick still in her skin. Yeah. She literally has real estate in her blood.
Back home, yes,
Yeah.
we do.
And
It's
so
very
you,
exciting.
from just growing up in it, your negotiations, it's important right now to have a good real estate agent, right? More than ever, because there's negotiations going on. I mean, you have to have someone who knows what they're doing.
And one thing I don't think people that are focused locally only realize is that right now, the person moving from Hutto to Leander, or from Pflugerville to Baton, they're not moving because of their interest rates are so low, the prices have gone up, the rates are so high. It's like I have to get a smaller house than I have now, and I'm paying more, and so they're not moving. So most of the moving and the buying is coming from people moving in, and so you need to have that connection with the communities that are moving in, and that's one of the things that you offer that some people don't.
Absolutely.
And you're mentioning Hayes, so you actually live within Hayes. And
Yes, we actually just moved there. We used to live in South Austin, and we kind of did the same thing where we wanted to upsize, but we still wanted to be close to the city, as I call it now, since I've moved to the country. But it's great. I absolutely love it. I love my country home.
Now, 20 years ago, that was.
I know, it still is small.
Yeah, still-
Restaurants close at 9 p.m., and so
Okay.
most of them are closed on Monday and
Which
Tuesday.
is kind of nice, isn't it?
It's lovely, but I
Nice.
love the sense of community that
Yeah.
I've formed, and everyone knows each other. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
right
awesome.
up until you're really hungry at 9:30.
Yeah.
I gotta drive to the city.
But see, once you live there, you get used to that, right? You go grocery shop before. So, but anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so if somebody is interested, like I said, and what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
To either call me, or you could send me an email, or my website through Douglas Elliman.
Okay, perfect. All right. And your phone number is?
760-607-2925.
And it's Savannah Sells ATX.
Correct.
Excellent. Please make sure you reach out if you have anything going on in the real estate market. You should reach out to her. Hey everyone, you've been listening to The Home Team with Troy and Wyatt. We hope you've enjoyed what you've heard so far. If you have any questions about anything we've said today, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing
Your
American Dream. See you in just a minute.